Okay, we're here with Associate Head Coach Chris Johnson as a preview for the upcoming indoor season for the men's and women's sprints, hurdles, and relays. First off, Coach Johnson, I'll ask you about your returners in the women's sprints group, Siobhan Greaves, Caitlin DeFusco, and Megan Duncan. Of course, Siobhan was third nationally in the 200 last year. DeFusco and Duncan both made the national meet on their own and made some pretty big strides last year. What's it like to have an experienced group like that leading your training group throughout the fall?
Well, it's exactly what you said. I think in terms of it brings a lot of leadership, a lot of maturity to the group, which is helpful. They've been there, they've done it before. They're coming off. Actually, this group of kids have been Big Ten champions their whole tenure here. So to come into the last year and kind of finish it off 4 times in a row would be excellent.
And then specifically about Siobhan, like I said, she was third indoors last year, world leader in the 200 indoors at 22.98. What are kind of your thoughts and aspirations for someone like Siobhan Greaves, who's come in and improved over the years and then going into her senior year?
Well, the key is to improve, and that's going to depend a great deal on her consistency as far as training and as far as being in the right mindset as in competing. She's done that this fall. She's had a great fall. Her strength levels are up. Her numbers on the track are better, and we'll see this weekend. I'm kind of excited about what she will do and how performance will be in comparison to the previous blue and white meets.
You've also got coming back people like sophomores now, Dora, Sanyo, and Vaughn. Both kind of had some ups and downs last year, but of course Doris ended on All-American on the 4x4, and Vaughn, of course, was second in the world in the 400-meter hurdles. What are kind of your goals for those guys, both throughout the fall and coming into this season with a year under their belts?
Well, before I think you can talk about the national stage, I think both of those kids need to make a statement in the Big Ten Conference. I think once you make a statement in the Big Ten Conference, finish top 3 in the conference, then that's going to be able to catapult you to the next level and talk about the national level. I think those kids need to come in, focus on being Big Ten champions, and then we'll go take a step further into the NCAAs.
Obviously, you've lost a couple big-time scorers and All-Americans from last year's squad in Vaughn, Dora, and Alicia Barber. But you've added Kirsten Nieuwendamme, a world qualifier at the world junior level, and people like E.J. Yahoma, a transfer from Florida. What is the kind of the new part of your women's sprint core looking like this fall?
Well, the new part is I had a young lady redshirt, Mahogany Jones, out of Ohio, who will be able to come in and contribute. We have Kirsten, of course, from Florida by way of Suriname. They qualified for the World Junior Meet. And we also have Katie Wolf out of Maryland. So we added some depth to the program. Obviously, they're first time competing at the college level. It will be interesting to see how they mature and develop. But definitely talented. It's just a matter of them getting comfortable, getting settled in, and being able to go out there and compete at a high level.
Okay, and then one of kind of your bread and butter events over the past handful of years has been that 4x4, gotten a team to the meet, I believe, on every occasion since you've been at Penn State. 4th last year outdoors. Who do you think kind of your goals for this year's 4x4, and kind of who are the contenders on the national level?
Well, I think the 4x4 is just a product of having great individuals in their primary events. Obviously, we got Siobhan coming back, and Caitlin was on the indoor 4x4. We have Yvonne Britton as a world junior runner-up in the 400-meter hurdle, so she should be able to be a contributing factor. Doris is coming back with a lot of accolades from last year. Recently in our banquet as freshman of the year in the 400 meters, and she's truly a 400 meters. We got a great transfer in E.J. Yahoma from the University of Florida, which I think she can come in and be able to contribute as well as Kirsten. Kirsten can also run the 4x4, and then also Mahogany Jones, who ran 54 seconds in the 400 as well. So we got a variety of kids that we can pick and choose from. We got to see how they adjust, how they're going to be able to compete at that level, and how to deal with that pressure. But the wonderful thing is that we have an array of talent that can be able to get it done. But it always goes back to the individual event. The better they do in their primary event, the better our relay is going to be.
And then over on the guys' side, over the a couple bright spots over the last couple of years, but now getting someone in like Brady Garrett, one of the top recruits out of high school this past year, is a freshman now. Talk a little bit about your men's sprint group, especially with someone like Brady being in the mix at this point.
Well, I think Brady coming in is the key, or he's the centerpiece to our men's sprint group. Obviously, he's getting settled, getting adjusted. And it's going to be a big difference for Brady. He was an all-world high school young man. Now he's got to settle in and get focused for the collegiate level, where there's a lot more talent, a lot of kids that are actually savvy and have the experience. But he's doing well in training. We're going to see he's battled with some minor injuries here and there, but he seems like he's going to be ready for the season, and we're excited about him. The guys are going to try to rally around him and be able to produce some significant points in the sprint hurdles events.
And then on the men's sprinters as well, guys like Colin Manning, Emanao Panduki out of Zimbabwe, and then a guy from like Aaron Nadolski from out of Altoona. With a year under the belts of those guys, how have they shaped up over the fall and coming into the Blue White Meat this season?
I think those guys needed that time for growth and maturity. Now they understand the rigors of a college season and what it takes. And those guys wasn't highly touted or highly recruited. It just takes the time for them to develop and understand what it's all about and be able to put the solid work in the fall in preparation for a long season. And those guys have done that. You can always ask for better, but they've achieved much better than they did in the previous seasons, the previous season last year. So I'm excited about those guys coming in and being able to contribute at the conference level as well.
All right, and then lastly, all the coaches on our staff have been kind of looking for something different, but going into the Blue White Meat this weekend, what are you kind of looking to see from your group?
Well, I just want to see how they compete. I mean, this is kind of the first test, if you will, and I want to see how they're going to handle the pressures of being in a meet situation without exactly being a meet, how they're going to handle the pressure, how they're going to deal with warming up and those sort of things, and what's going to be the end result, so we can go back and see what adjustments we need to make in training and what adjustments they need to make in training and so forth and so on, so we can be ready for the upcoming season.
All right, Associate Head Coach Chris Johnson. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.